Hi there, I'm Alex from the Southern Ukulele Store, and over the years we have attempted quite a few videos at SUS. Obviously this style of video is more recent, but the most watched video on our YouTube channel from about 5 years ago was a ukulele bass comparison video, and it was terrible. And you let us know, you people on YouTube, especially a few of you were extra mean, and I wish you all the best. Please don't visit our channel again if you're watching this video. Naughty you, go away. Anyway, off on a tangent. Ukulele basses. When we did that video 4 years ago, there might have only been 5, maybe 10 different things on the market. But today I'm going to film a comparison of 12 different bass ukuleles. And some of them are very different to each other. This is actually the most ukulele basses that we've ever had in stock at one time. We do have a wall on our shop floor that we have ukulele basses on, but at peak time normally we'll only have about 6 or maybe 8 at a push in stock. But I've been planning this video for a while, and I decided to kind of raid the Kala catalogue and some of the really key unique basses out there, like the Magic Fluke bass. There'll be a list in the description of the basses that we're going to cover, but we're going to begin with a Baton Rouge laminate mahogany. Let's see what you think. Okay, the first ukulele of the day today is the Baton Rouge BR V2BS, which is their bass ukulele. This is a laminate mahogany top, back and sides with a imitation rosewood fingerboard and bridge. I don't think it is rosewood, but I'll correct myself in the bottom if it is. This is the only fretless on the list that I'll be playing today because I'm not that keen on fretless instruments. I'm not the best bass player in the world, and I'm trying to give you a fair idea of what to expect. And if you've got some bloke kind of helplessly faffing away on the fretboard trying to find the note, it's not going to help you. So this will be the only one I feature today, but a lot of these ukulele models we're going to do come in a fretless form. This has a pretty nondescript preamp on the side, but when you consider at around the £200 mark, this is the starting price point for a ukulele bass, then it can kind of be forgiven. A little bit of a tone scoop and volume, and the battery is accessible from the outside, which is a nice bonus. And if you need to change the strings or have problems, you've got a little screw-on compartment on the back there. Hopefully you can see that in the video. But yeah, nice and simple, a bit of black binding. It's got the sun inlay. I'm going to give it a play through an amp just after, so I'm going to cut away for these videos, but my reason for cutting away and not playing them out is that I want to mic up the bass amp properly. So what you're going to hear is a bass amplifier with an SM57 in front of it. That seems to be the kind of best, kind of fair comparison that I could think to do. Anyway, the Baton Rouge. Okay, the next ukulele today is the Kala Wanderer bass. Now, as I filmed this in 2018, this is a really new model for Kala. This has been a long time coming, really. Kala have dipped their toe in the cheaper end of bass ukuleles for a while, and you can kind of sense probably their frustration. They came up with the ukulele bass, or the U-bass as it's been popularised in the last few years, and at kind of £500, it's always been out of the reach of the beginners market, and a few imitations have found their way in. So this is Kala's way of saying, look, we're Kala, we know the U-bass better than you, give our bass a try. And it's great. This is priced, I think, just around the £230 to £250 price mark. It has one of Kala's sort of standard preamps on the side. This is the kind of simple no bells and whistles model with no binding, known as the Wanderer. They also do the Passenger, which has a little bit of binding. It looks a little bit fancier. This has got some unbranded tuners on it. I mention these because the Kala tuners do differ as you step up the range. But yeah, this is, it looks like an ebony fingerboard and bridge. I'm not too sure. I will just double check that before we go ahead, but if it's wrong, I'll put it down there. And let's plug it in and see what you think. Okay, this lovely thing is the Carla Journeyman. You may have seen this, it's been very popular this year and we've been waiting a whole 10 months for it to arrive in the UK after the NAMM show in January. This is the same as a standard Carla laminate ukulele bass. It's got a slightly domed top on it with the F-holes, some cream binding with the laminate mahogany. It's got a laminate mahogany neck as well with the same tuners as the Journeyman, as the Wanderer and the Passenger bass before it. It's got a plastic nut and saddle, although the saddle is integrated into the pickup, so it's not so bad either way, adds to the tone. And then you've got this Carla preamp on the side. Super popular, this one. I mean, it has the look, certainly. But yeah, how does it sound? Let's find out. Okay, so this super cool bass is part of the Mahalo range of ukulele basses. Now, some of you wouldn't expect Mahalo to make a ukulele bass. They have carved their niche in the ukulele world as being a brand that make beginners instruments very well. Over the last 10 years it has evolved quite a bit, the Mahalo line, but this ukulele bass has always been a bit of a standout product for us. It's nice and heavy like a solid body bass would be. This is the Trans Brown, but I believe it's, the name is Trans Brown, but I believe it's on an ash body with a little maple cut in the middle that runs all the way through, and a through neck, which is really cool. You don't normally see this kind of thing on the ukulele, normally reserved for electric guitars. This runs on a 9-volt battery, and I think that that translates quite well into the pickup system. It's got a bit more bite to it when you play it. Active volume and tone there. This system is much like the Carla system there, but it sits on a floating bridge. And finally, this is a walnut fingerboard, and the component attaching the bridge to the body is also walnut. Yeah, this has those same unbranded hipshot style tuners, and at about £280, this is for many the introductory solid body ukulele bass. It's always been popular here anyway. Let's see what you think. The next bass today is something from earlier in the Carla ukulele bass line. This was for a long time their introductory model. This is the Rumbler bass. So the Rumbler has a few things about it that differ from other basses in the series. This is a laminate mahogany, possibly classed as laminate NATO, top, back and sides. It's stained very, very dark colour, which is super cool. It uses a shadow pickup. The pickup is much improved on what you find on the Journeyman, Passenger and the Wanderer bass. It also has a slightly different way of fitting the battery, which some people might like, some people might not. It's worth mentioning either way. And this one has a rosewood fingerboard and bridge, which is a bit of a surprise. This has changed. Some Rumbler basses now come with a walnut fingerboard and bridge. You'll be able to tell because the walnut fingerboard and bridge is really, really light colour. We'll see another one in the list a little bit later on. And perhaps most interesting, unique to this model, is the silver Rumbler strings by Aquila. So these strings are almost like a charcoal grey colour, and they're slightly brighter than the Pahoe strings that you find on a ubass 1, and thinner too. So you can change these, but the silver Rumbler strings are actually a very popular string. The Rumbler strings are almost more well known than the Rumbler bass itself, but this bridge is a good gap. This is about £385 in the UK as of late 2018. So if you're looking for something that is a step up, perhaps you've already tried a ukulele bass and you know that you're going to play it a lot, this is the next level in comfort and sound. Hopefully you'll agree when you hear it. So yeah, let's hear it. Okay, the next ukulele bass today is the Gold Tone M-Bass 23. Named the 23 because of its 23-inch scale length. They do a 25-inch scale length bass as well, which has wound strings instead of the kind of plastic style, rubber style strings that we get here on the normal ukulele basses. This is ever so slightly longer, you may notice from the video scales, than the other basses we've tried. I have one other large bass to try, but the good thing about ukulele basses is it's not an exact science to it. Everyone's still tinkering with it and experimenting with it, and aside from the Kala U bass, there's not really a norm and something that going forward everyone will know. Hopefully in 100 years time someone will watch this video somehow on kind of an ancient historic app and they'll be laughing because everyone will have played a 23-inch bass and that will be what was popularised. But this is a great alternative if you have big hands or if you're used to the bass guitar. This may be the stepping stone you need. Equally, the 25, that one that's a bit longer with the steel strings, sounds more like an acoustic bass guitar. So they're both very different instruments in this range that tick very different boxes. This has always been popular. This is the bass in the range that if we have on the wall, someone coming in the shop who may not have expected to come in and buy a ukulele bass will try and go, this just feels right. It's, I believe it's a solid mahogany top with laminate back and sides, but I found conflicting things online, including Gold Tone's own website about this. This one has a walnut fingerboard iron bridge with that plastic style integrated saddle. This has a variation on the Aquila Thundergut string. This is Gold Tone's own Thundergut string. It's slightly longer, as you would expect being a longer scale bass, and slightly more expensive. I mean, a set of these could set you back kind of £40. So make your strings last, and to be fair, they're quite resistant. You don't see many people changing their ukulele bass strings kind of once a year. It's more like once every 2 or 3. This has those unbranded hipshot style tuners on the back, which are very good. It seems to be the norm for the ukulele bass, and yeah, really popular model. The only one I think I'm going to feature today with a cutaway in an acoustic style. So yeah, let's give it a play and see what you think. Alright then, this next bass in the list is another new one here in the UK, but I have reason to believe this is becoming the most popular bass in Kala's arsenal. This is the JYMN-FS RW. They do another version of this with a slightly different code that has the Thundergut strings on, but I chose to go for the Kala wound strings on this model for a bit of variation. I think this ukulele suits these strings more than the Thundergut strings, just my opinion, but you get some real volume out of this. It's a laminate ebony, but there's really nothing about the ukulele bass that sings that a solid wood instrument would be more beneficial than a laminate. I mean, a strong laminate with a good kind of tension strings and a good setup should have a better, not better, but a competitive acoustic tone. I really like it anyway. I mean, this is another one of those with a walnut fingerboard iron bridge and the upgraded shadow pickup system. This also got a really nice maple binding that you might be able to pick up. And this is the first bass of the Kala range to feature the proper bells and whistles hipshot tuners, which are considerably more expensive than you might expect. These are about £55 a set if you were to buy these singly. But yeah, let's give it a try. Okay, the next bass that we're going to feature today is another big one. This is the Guild Jumbo Junior bass. A fantastic design. This is a scaled down jumbo acoustic guitar. So it's got the wide lower bout for increased volume and tone. This is a solid spruce top with laminate maple back and sides, but that flame maple looks really cool. It's just a really cool bass. This is technically an acoustic bass guitar. It has some bronze wound strings on and the larger 25-inch scale. This has a rosewood fingerboard and bridge. It's even got a pin bridge with super large pins. There's a lot to love here. I mean, this is price-wise right there in the intermediate price range of about £450, but it really is just awesome. I mean, there's the Guild tuners as well, something a bit different. I'm going to give it a play and see what you guys think. Right, so here's my old favourite. I used to have one of these. This is a ubass 2. Modern name being the ubass SS MHG. And this one is also the left-handed model, so don't be confused that the preamp is on this side. Us lefties need some instruments too. It's exactly the same as the right-handed model, but I don't have the right-handed one in stock, and I didn't want you guys to miss out. This has those hip shot tuners on. Very much a staple in the Kala ukulele bass line. I'd be shocked if this isn't one of the most popular ones. It's always been a kind of natural fit. The spruce top with these black pahoe-hoe strings, which are super stretchy, and the pahoe-hoe strings are slightly mellower than the Thunderguts, not nearly as kind of fat and full of life. These are more for your smoother bass player. Someone with a little bit more of a kind of delicate touch. This has that shadow preamp that we know and love, and at this price point you start to see the magnetic cover to take your strings off rather than something that screws in that will wear out over time. Can't say enough about these small improvements of what you're paying for at this price. Yeah, rosewood fingerboard and bridge on this model. It does differ. Some newer models have a walnut fingerboard and bridge, but I can't imagine they make nearly as many left-handed ones as they do right-handed. Anyway, I'm going to give it a play and see what you think. Okay then, my last acoustic bass of the day today is the Kala ubass 1. This is the one that popularised ukulele basses for us here in the masses. There was before this something called the Ashbury bass, which I think are still available. I must confess there's a big gap in my knowledge there. I've always been more of a guitarist than a bass player, but this bass ukulele has been just wonderful for 10 years plus. I was trying to date it, but I think the first one of these we received was around 2008, 2009, and it's just always been popular. The solid mahogany is nice and mellow. This is the only acoustic instrument on this list that has a solid top, back and sides. You have the tortoiseshell binding, which is a nice subtle touch. This is another lefty. This one has the pickup on this side, but just switch it to that way and you'd never know the difference. We have right-handed ones available as well. I just fancy giving myself a treat as a lefty player playing upside down. This is the fretted model. The fretless model is also very popular. And finally, this has those upgraded hip shot tuners. This is the walnut fingerboard and bridge as well. I'm still seeing models that have rosewood fingerboards and bridges, but if you are looking for one of these and you have a preference, I would get in touch with your dealer, because they might not know what they have until they look in the box. It's quite a subtle change on something like mahogany. So yeah, don't hesitate to ask your dealer, preferably us, and we'll go from there. I'm going to give it a play. Okay, the penultimate ukulele of the day today is another bass ukulele. This one is by Magic Fluke. Their name used to be in headstock, but we cut it out so we can say hello like that. This has quite a lot different about it to the rest of the ukes on this list. First of all, these are your proper kind of metal wound guitar strings with a nylon core. This has its own pickup design, which is different to that bridge we've been seeing previously, but it does still pair it up with this shadow preamp on the side, which is a really popular choice. You're probably wondering what the body's made of. Well, this is made of American cherry. These little cutouts are great for resting your finger when you play. This has a maple neck with a maple fingerboard, and this model has the peghead tuners, which is unique in itself. If you're wondering why this has a strap on, this is because Magic Fluke like to have as much of their components made locally to them as possible. So they've included a US made ukulele strap, which does come off, but not that easily. And they've done this in a way to stop people drilling a second strap button in the back. But we have done this for someone else, and it can be done. So don't worry too much. But yeah, somebody who knows Magic Fluke a lot better than me will have reviewed this. I've seen quite a few very good online reviews already for this, so I don't want to go over something you may already know. But this is the high end now. This is around the £650–700 mark, and yeah, it's a lot of bass for that money. Let's give it a play. Okay, the last bass on the list today. This is a US made Carla California U bass. So first of all, this one has a Koa top on an ash body, but it is gorgeous. And we can get quite a few different wood combinations with this. We've had an ebony, we've had walnut. This is, at the end of the day, this is cosmetic, so it's nice they've used a good piece of wood, but it doesn't affect the tone too much. This has the maple neck with a maple fingerboard as well, and this one comes strung with the Pahoe Hoey mellow style ukulele bass strings, but you can put thunder guts or even the Carla round wound strings on this if you want a different kind of sound. This one has a unique pickup designed for them by LR Bags, so it's got the volume and the two tones there. Yeah, it's just a lot of bass. This is not a cheap bass at around £1,100 UK 2018 prices, but this is a precision tool in much the same way that a Fender precision bass or a jazz bass would be, although this probably more resembles something like a Warwick. Anyway, I'm going to give this one a play last to see what you think. I'll speak to you again. basses for you, one after the other, starting from about £200, going all the way up to about £1,100. You really are spoilt for choice. It doesn't seem to matter whether you have big fingers, small fingers, you want something with a wide neck, something a thin neck, something that's this thick, something that's this thick, something this big, something that's this big. There's a choice for everybody when it comes to ukulele basses. I know which one's my favourite, not necessarily the most expensive one on the list as well, despite having really expensive tastes. So if you have any questions, get in touch. You can email us at shop@southernukulelestore.co.uk. You can email me at alex@ukulele.co.uk, or you can give us a call on 01202 430 820. I didn't think I'd enjoy this. The ukulele bass video has been the video that I've been dreading because it takes a long time to tune 12 ukulele basses. And if you don't own one, you'll know exactly what I mean when you buy one. Those rubber strings, they take an age. Anyway, I'm Alex. I'll shut up now. I'll let you get on with your day. Thank you.